Hey, Algebra 1, here we are. We're moving on to Chapter 5. This is the eternal chapter. This chapter has 13 sections, and we are going to take it slowly, but we are finally learning how to factor. We've done a little bit of factoring. We are in lesson Chapter 5, Section 1, and we are factoring integers. So you should know when I say that word integers, what an integer is. Remember, they are negative and positive whole numbers. Our essential question today is, can you factor integers and find the greatest common factor of several integers? So there are two things that you need to know the difference. When I'm talking about factors, we're going to call that a factor set. Okay, so we're going to write the products of all the numbers. So let's look at example 1. When I'm talking about the factors of 42, this is 1 and 42, and 2 and 21, and 3 and 14, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, 6 and 7. And so these are all the positive factors, and you could just leave them just like this in a T-chart, or if you want to write them out, you can write them out. The T-chart I like is easy to see. But a lot of times students get factors confused with prime factorization. So remember that prime factorization is the factor tree, and I would star these just because you do forget these two. You want to know the difference between factors and prime factorization. So let's go ahead and build our factor tree of 180, 2 and 90. Let's break that down to 9 and 10 because I know 9 can break down to be 3 and 3, and 10 can break down to be 2 and 5. So when I write the prime factorization of 180, I'm going to write 2 squared times 3 squared times 5. All right, moving on to GCF. The greatest common factor you probably did in middle school and the least common multiple. But I'm going to start with the factor tree of each. I know 36 is 3 and 12. 12 is 2 and 6 and 2 and 3. 90 is 9 and 10. 9 is 3 and 3. 10 is 2 and 5. Now, when I write out this prime factorization, I'm actually going to take the time to write them all individually, and I'm going to show you why. 90 is 1, 2, 2 3s, and 1 5. So, when I'm looking for GCF, it is the greatest common factor. So we have to find the common numbers. So notice that 2 is a common number, 3 is a common number, and another 3 is the common number. So when I multiply the GCF, I'm going to actually multiply this one of these 2's, one of these 3's, and one of these 3's. Well, 2 times 3 is 6, times 3 is 18. So what this is saying is 18 can go into 36, and 18 can also go into 90. So that's really what we need to know in our lesson today. You need to know the difference between prime factorization, factors, and the greatest common factor, also called the GCF.